We're continuing on page 37 in our workbook, and the instructions for Work Together 3-4 are on page 77 in your textbook. Use the general journal from Work Together 3-3. Your instructor will guide you through the following examples. Looks like we have about 8 transactions that we will record. Journalize the transactions for April 22nd through April 27th. Source documents are abbreviated as follows: C for check, R for receipt, S for sales invoice, and T for cash register tape. Use page 2 of the journal to journalize the remaining transactions for April. So what's going to happen in this one is we're going to finish filling up page 1, and we will learn how to start a new page in our journal. So our first transaction is April 22nd, so we'll put the date, the 22nd, and it says paid cash for water bill. Water is a utility, so that's going to go under utilities expense. Our expenses are always the debit, so we're going to put in utilities expense. And then our credit is going to be cash, so we indent that just a little bit. Our source document is check number 7, so we'll put C7 on the debit line, on the utilities expense line, and the amount of our water bill is $205. So on the debit line, put in $205, and on cash, our credit line, $205. Next transaction, April 23rd, sold services on account to L. Rowe, $289. So we'll put in the date, the 23rd. We sold services on account. Sales is always our credit, so that means accounts receivable is going to be our debit. So we have accounts receivable L. Rowe, and then sales on the line below as our credit. Our source document is sales invoice 2, so an S2. And the amount is $289. So in the in the debit column, we'll put in a $289, and in the credit column, a $289. The 26th, received cash from sales, $1,670. We'll put in the date, 26th. We received cash, so cash is our debit, and we received it from sales, so sales is our credit. Now this is us cashing out our register at the end of the night, so this is going to be T for tape, cash register tape 26. And if you notice, when we do a cash register tape, the number always matches the date that month. So this one was T26, this one is T13 because it was on the 13th. The amount was $1,670, so in the debit column on the cash line, put in your $1,670, and on the sales line in the credit column, $1,670. We have 2 transactions on the 27th. The first one, paid cash to owner for personal use, so we'll put in the 27th. We're paying cash, so cash is going to be our credit, and we're paying that to the owner for personal use, so that's going to be the owner's drawing account. So our debit will be Norm Derner, comma, drawing, and our credit will be cash, and this is going to be a check, which is check number 8, so C8. The amount is $650, so in the debit column put $650, and then on the same line as cash, but in the credit column, $650. Now our next one on the 27th is paid cash for supplies. So we'll put in the 27th. We're paying cash, so cash is our credit. We're purchasing supplies, so supplies is our debit. And we're going to use a check to pay for this, so that's going to be check number 9, C9, and the amount of those supplies is $42. All right, our next transaction is on the 28th. I only have one line left, and our rule is that we never split up a transaction onto two separate pages. So I'm going to leave this last line blank, and I'm going to go to the next page, which happens to be right on the back of the page we were currently using. And I'm going to start a new page by putting in number 2 for the page number. We're still in the month of April, so I'm going to put an APR in our small box there, and then we're starting a new page, so we're going to put the year right above APR. So I'm going to put 2000 and whatever year you are watching this video in. Okay, now it says for our transaction here, we're on the 28th of April. And it says that we paid cash for postage. Now we would have to look at our chart of accounts and see, do I have a postage expense account? And if I go back to that page in the book, I will see that I don't have a postage expense account. So if I don't have a special account for postage, I'm going to put it in miscellaneous expense. So my debit is going to be miscellaneous expense. And my credit is going to be cash. And this is going to be check number 10. So I'm going to put in a C10 for the document number. And the amount of our postage is $53. So I'm going to put a 53 in the debit column and a 53 in the credit column. Okay, on the 29th, received cash on account from L. Rowe. So I put in the date, the 29th, and I'm receiving cash. So cash is my debit, and I'm receiving it from L. Rowe, which means that is an accounts receivable. So accounts receivable hyphen L. Rowe. Our source document for this is R3, receipt number 3, and the amount that L. Rowe is paying us is $200. So in the debit column, I'll put 200, make sure that's on the same line as cash, and in the credit column, 200 on the same line as our accounts receivable. One last transaction, received cash from sales, $544. So the date for this one is the 30th. We're receiving cash, so cash is our debit and sales is our credit. Again, we're cashing out our register, so this is going to be a T for register tape, and the date is the 30th, so it's going to be T30. And the amount from our register is $544, so in the debit column, $544 on the same line as cash, and on the credit column, $544, same line as sales. Okay, that completes the work together 3-4, and now you're going to go on and complete the on your own 3-4, continuing on with those pages.